So, Ahnansé, you are a multi-instrumentalist, a composer, a conductor, producer, and the founder behind Steam Down.
That's too much of a big introduction.
You're getting shy already.
I'll get ready. Yeah, apparently I do all of those things. But yeah, I think it's just an enjoyment of like creating music, and then all of a sudden these titles get put on you. One of the most interesting ones that I didn't realize was had a friend who's a trumpet player called Yelfries Valdez, and he came to one of the early SD weeklies, and he said, oh yeah, he wasn't even playing his saxophone, but it was a really great vibe. And I was like, okay. And then I realized at that point in time that I was like conducting the band.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah, you're a conductor, but I didn't know. I was just like, this is what feels right.
Yeah, they all flow together so well. But I want to focus today mostly on Steam Down. And so you set it up in 2017, right? So take me back to that time, and why did you decide to start it, and why did you feel it was needed?
Yeah, I was in a previous project called United Vibrations, and I remember going on tour, coming back, and I was like, oh, some of the places that were really important for my musical development and also that community and friends, they didn't exist anymore, and then I just wouldn't be in contact with those people. So I was like, I want to have a place or space where there can be this sense of home or connection, and where there's something in the city that just is there to connect both musicians but also audiences. Because it's not really just about the music, it's like the whole community, right? Mm-hmm. It's like musicians and their friends and the friends of friends, and then all of a sudden it's just, yeah, we're just hanging around music, and I just wanted to make sure that had a space to exist.
Yeah, and do you remember the first event? How were you kind of feeling before? What kind of stands out as a memory to you?
Doing it all by myself.
Yeah, I bet it was a lot. Yeah.
Like we were talking about freelancing just before this, and it's that thing of like, I had to get the drum kit, I had to get the bass amp. I remember like carting down all of the equipment from this space that I got it in Chocolate Factories up in North London. And it was just me, like with an Uber bringing it down. It was like pretty much mostly me. I had some other friends that were helping, but the most of it was on me, like putting the sound desk together, no sound engineer. So I just remember that whole feeling of
proper DIY vibes from the get-go. Yeah,
proper DIY vibes. Yeah. But afterwards, like with the event, I remember the feeling of like, oh, there is this energy in the room, and I know that this can become something if I just keep on going with it.
Yeah. You know? And what was the reaction like to the very first event?
I think because a lot of the people inside the room are my friends, it was great.
Oh, that's nice. You need your friends there for the first one, especially.
Yeah, it was like what I did with the first one. I just messaged a bunch of people and said, this is what's happening. That's what I did for the first one, for people that I knew. So it was a great vibe.
That also helped settle nerves, I think, if you got a few familiar faces for the first one.
Yeah.
And then how has it evolved since? I know it's been going so well, but what's kind of changed, or what have you seen progress maybe since that very first event?
So many things, but I think the main thing is that it kind of moves and grows with the people and the seasons. So you get like lots of like younger musicians coming in now, and I'm like, oh yeah, one of them, we called him 05 because he was born in 05, and I'm like, you're so young. But he's a great musician.
That is really young. I've just worked that out. Yeah.
Right. So I think it's that thing of it growing and changing over time. It's one of the most beautiful things, and that it still holds its essence from the beginning. Like that, the feeling that somebody, I think, that came from 2017 was there last week, and they were still like coming after all of these years, and it was like amazing to see that kind of continuity, right?
Yeah,
because that's what I wanted it to be from the beginning.
Yeah, so, definitely.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate compliment if someone keeps coming back. And like you said, with 05, you can see him progress and come through. That must be so rewarding for you.
And you know, the funny thing about that is that I think one of our drummers, he's a little bit older, but he was like, oh yeah, I was watching Steam Down on Instagram and I was going to school.
Wow.
So it's kind of like,
I love that. And so it's a weekly event, right? But it's also an artist collective. Can you tell me more about the artist side of it?
Okay, so Steam Down is the band, and that does all of the music, whereas SD Weekly is the event. We have to kind of change the names a bit so everybody didn't get confused. But we, with the band, we released music. So we released our debut album, I Realized It Was Me, at the end of last year after so many years. And we have, you know, the privilege of like going and touring around the world and doing really interesting stuff and, you know, collaborating with like other people, which is one of my favorite things about going on tour with the band. I don't know, the one that comes to mind is going to Antigua. We were doing a like show in this kind of like really posh resort, which was cool. Not just because they gave us loads of free food, but but we also like collaborated with schools and other, you know, musicians that were from there, and there's something that's really beautiful about doing that. We've done that in New York as well as in Amsterdam. So touring, but also having those connections really means a lot.
Yeah, and it looks like you guys have so much fun. I've seen your Instagram, and it just looks like you have a blast wherever you go, and you're all together and like exploring new cities and of course playing together. But it's nice that you guys, just have a good time alongside it all.
Yeah, I think it's that thing of like, if you're touring on the road with people that you really like spending time with, because I've been in a bunch of different bands, it's not always that way. If you enjoy spending time with each other and your friends, then it makes the whole experience like so much more enriching.
Yeah, for sure. And then your album was released last September. I Realized It Wasn't Me. What was the initial reaction like? Because this was your debut, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting one for me. I think the reaction was really great, especially from London, because it's like home turf. And everywhere we went, audiences were like really receptive. But I think it's like the beginning of a new space for us, really, because I think it's the first time that I personally put a record together where I'm like, it has everything that I want in it, which is like a beautiful feeling.
That's really special,
you know. And everybody that's part of the recording who's in the band right now, you'll get to see them at Brick Lane Jazz Festival. They were all part of that process, and we've really created a bond through creating this music. So yeah, I feel like I've got the perfect band making the perfect music for me.
Wow. That's a big statement. I love that.
For me. I'm not, you know, you guys make up your mind how you like it or not, but yeah.
That must be so magical as well, to work so hard in like a studio or with everyone on that and then perform it live and get that kind of real-time reaction as well. And I read somewhere that the album's been described as a guide to finding your own way. Which I love. Could you tell me a bit more about that?
I want to know who wrote that. Stuff about my records.
I think that was from your Instagram somewhere. I was somewhere. Doing some digging,
okay.
I don't know if it was you or someone had written it about the album, but
I Realized It Was Me. It's kind of like all in the title. Like all of the songs are supposed to kind of give a different perspective on life, and also kind of comment on the kind of times that we're in, but also. Yeah, I guess it's a journey through that from our perspective, without going into whole album breakdown. That's the short one.
Yeah. And did you get a chance to debut some of the album at SD Weekly?
Yeah.
Or play it out?
We don't play all of it, but we'll play like songs. So we'll play like one or two songs. And when it was coming up to like the album release, just before, we were like teasing songs in and out at the SD Weeklies. But mainly the SD Weeklies are improvised, so they're live improvised performances. So generally we don't kind of play the band's music in it. Yeah.
That must have been such a full circle moment though, to play the music that you created at the weekly session as well. That must have felt amazing.
And also the headline show, because the thing about the headline show, it felt like a big SD Weekly. It was at Islington Assembly Hall, and you get this feeling of like I'm seeing people in the audience that I've seen like for every week, but like, you know, 600 people or whatever. And then it just feels like, everybody's like, oh yeah, I've heard a bit of this, but I haven't quite heard it like this. And, you know, so it's like, that's a really magic moment.
When was that, the Islington Assembly Hall? Was that last year?
It was November last year.
Yeah. And I also wanted to talk about Blue Note in New York City, baby, because you sold that out.
Yeah, that was...
Which is so special, because I know how iconic that place is and how much it means to you guys. So, yeah, how did it feel for you being out there and doing that?
I remember walking into the dressing room and looking on the wall. And if you know jazz, you know this guy called Joe Henderson. He's an amazing saxophone player. I think there was Oscar Peterson as well, another amazing jazz piano player. And I just walked upstairs and I sat in the dressing room and I was like, I'm kind of sitting in the same room that these guys were sitting in, like legendary. From all of these legends. So it's this feeling of like, I was like listening to these records when I was like a kid, and all of a sudden, if anybody doesn't know, the Blue Note is a record label as well as a venue. And I'm kind of sitting down in this space where all of this history happens. So has this feeling of being like really surreal, and being like I'm in this place that I was like reading about.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, definitely,
you know,
definitely.
It's crazy.
So iconic. I mean, also Ronnie Scott's here is one of those as well, where you see all the black and white photos, and just the energy in a space like that is so incredible and magical. To think all those icons have once been here and performed there, and for you guys to perform there as well is amazing.
Yeah.
So we're recording this a week of Brick Lane Jazz Festival, and you sold out Village Underground back in 2019.
Yeah.
Did. And you're back there this Saturday with the full band, and the help of the talented National Youth Jazz Orchestra as well. Yes. So how are you feeling about that? Because it's a few days away. I'm really looking forward to it. Being able to do the music that we do with 12 other musicians on stage. Like, the one thing about horns or horn sections, one of my friends, he's from Colombia, he goes, with horns, more is more. And that is the best way of putting it. Is this expansion of what we do, and that's so special. And again, to do that at the Village Underground, like almost like to the date, all of those years ago, kind of is like this full circle moment. Also because when we did the Village Underground first time, it was kind of a slightly expanded lineup too, but this is like even more, so it's like the expanded expansion. And it's such a great venue. I can just imagine that's gonna completely pop off with you guys there. And then what can people expect? Could you give any little insights of what it's gonna be like on the night?
Look, guys, you just need to come.
Yeah, I kind of knew you were gonna say that.
I'm like, I can't give out the secrets before the show.
No, that's completely fair enough. Yeah. So you're performing Saturday, 5:15 to 6 p.m. Village Underground, and people go check out Steam Down. It's going to be very magical in that room, I think.
Come catch the vibes.
Well, Ahnansé, thank you so much for chatting to me.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck for Saturday.
All right, thank you.